Yes, hello and welcome back to another F1 video, but this time it is going to be slightly different. We're moving away from my team for today's video, and instead we're going to be designing some liveries. These liveries I've designed myself. I've taken inspiration from like historic F1 cars or the manufacturers and tried to stay on brand with their colours and their sponsors. So I've tried to be as accurate as possible. But yeah, if you do enjoy today's video, please be sure to hit that like button down below and make sure you subscribe whilst you're at it for more F1 content and more livery designs, hopefully, as designing cars is a passion of mine, whether it be on F1 or something like GTA or Need for Speed. Like all those games back in the day were great to design cars on, but albeit with its limitations. You know, F1 and Codemasters, they need to up their game with designing F1 cars on this game, because even GTA it's probably a much better game at designing cars than F1 is, and that's saying something for a game that's almost 10 years old. But thankfully there is hope in sight with the modding community on PC. They're designing some great liveries on there, and I just wish we could put them on console as well, because like myself, who plays console, it's frustrating that you can't design cars like you can on Forza with the minute details, like with all like the different shapes and symbols you can like paste onto the cars. It's just really frustrating. But anyway, let's get into this video, and just from using what the base game has to offer, we've come up with 4 designs today that you can follow along at home with and use in your My Team career modes. So let's get into this. The first one up we got is a classic Lamborghini design. I based it around the Lambo 291 that you can see on screen now. That car only raced for 1 season, unfortunately, in the 1991 season, and ever since then fans have been waiting patiently for a return from Lamborghini into the sport. The likes of Ferrari and Alfa Romeo, 2 historic F1 teams, the biggest Italian teams in the sport, and I think everyone would love for Lamborghini to return back into the sport one day, but we can only hope and pray. But in the meantime, you can follow along with this tutorial and make your own Lamborghini My Team career mode car. I used a very dark blue as the base coat for this car, but you could use like a black. I think the black probably works better in my opinion, but I was just follow along with the Lambo 291 in mind, and that had like a really dark blue base coat to it, and I think it worked well at the time, but for like a more modern look, the black would look really nice on this car. And as you can see on screen, I'm using multiple sponsors at the minute. When you're designing a car out of My Team, you can use more than 4 sponsors, but in My Team you can only use the 4. And in this case, if you were going to create it in My Team, I would use these 4 sponsors as the main sponsors. But on to the next one now, and we chose Toyota. Now Toyota was a car that was in F1 not too long ago, actually, only maybe like 10-15 years ago, and with 17 podiums in F1, they do have some history here, and bringing them back to your own My Team career mode would be a class move. Now, with the design, I've gone for a design that's been based around the time when they were last in F1, and they're that blue Panasonic sponsor with the red and the white mixed in, and that was just a lovely car to look at. And I wanted to bring it alive in F1 2021, and that's what we've done. We've gone for like the Mercedes sort of style of livery, with the blue sponsor again, white shark logo as being like the Toyota logo in this case, and like the red Toyota logo on the front wing as well. I think that works really nice. So to create your own Toyota car, what you want to do is choose the drone livery. In this case, we chose a red, white and blue color scheme. You don't have to follow it exactly, but if you did want the specific color combinations, then they are on screen right now for you to follow. I've also got to say that this livery works really nice with those hard compounder tyres, little white accent on the hard Pirelli tyres. Yeah, it just works. It just adds to the livery as a whole. It could actually work really nicely with the red compounder soft tyres as well. Those reds with the red Toyota branding. Yeah. So to create the Panasonic logo that you see on the side of the 09 Toyota car, you're going to want to choose the compass logo and just turn it to a blue colour. And for the Toyota logo, you want to choose the shark logo, as I think it's probably the closest you can get to like the Toyota writing as you see from the 09 car in the game. And then make it white on the side body of the car and red for the front wing. And then for the other sponsors on the car, you're going to want to choose, you can exchange any of these out for the rest of the car really, as long as they have like a typography sort of style font to them. I mean, I like the Venus one and the Distort. These are the ones that I chose for this car. But you could also use something like the Xenon logo or Zanze you could use as well. But yeah, for the 4 main ones that I'd choose would be the compass one for in place of the Panasonic logo, shark in place of Toyota, and then for myself I used the Store and Venus. Now on to the third car for this episode, and we've decided to go with a Maserati-Petronas style F1 racing team, and I think it works really nicely, especially with this livery design. The metallic sort of material on the blue colours there just works really nicely, just to shine off the light bouncing onto it. And then the Zanio, like we used a lot of like Italian style lettering sponsors in this design, and yeah, it just works really nicely to bring out the Maserati effect. On screen right now you're seeing that I use like a deep dark blue once again for like the base coat, but you could exchange this, and I do later on in this episode, we exchange it for like a blue similar to the one on the center of the car. And yeah, you can do this to your own car as well. I think the black probably makes it look a bit more modern, but the blue that we showed later on in the episode, it does make it look a bit more classical and a bit more Maserati. So the reason I decided to go with this Maserati-Petronas joint team was because I was trying to find a nice color that would suit well with that metallic blue you got on top there, and I couldn't find a nice blue or white that I really liked for this car, because the white ended up being like a metallic silver grey like you'd see on a Mercedes, and I didn't really want that because obviously Petronas is part of Mercedes as well, so I wanted it to be unique to this car. And I ended up finding a nice cyan color which is like the Petronas color, and yeah, I thought it went really well with this car. And there just so happened to be a Petronas style sponsor as well in game, so I end up using the Equita oil as you see on screen now, that sits above the driver's seat. So yeah, I think it works really nicely. And then you've got a really nice vibrant royal blue on the side. I think that really brings out the Maserati brand, and in place of the Maserati sponsor we used that Zanietto, I think it is, I don't know how you say it, but I probably butchered that, as I think that's probably the most similar one to use. And then for the other two sponsors you could probably use Atlantic, as that's quite like a posh brand to use, as well as that Moni Paris. They both really fit the Maserati brand quite nicely. Alternatively, you could use the Xenon Dynamics as the Petronas sponsor, or you could also use the Vacan, I don't know how you say that either, but the one I used just then as the Maserati logo. And last but not least, I've made this Tesla F1 racing style livery, and I think it works so nicely. Even though I think if Tesla were to be in like a Formula Series, they would be in Formula E, just because it fits their brand so much better. And obviously they're all about electric cars, aren't they? So unless Formula 1 went in direction of like an electric style car, which I think they will be in the future, so it could be quite interesting to see if Tesla do join the F1 series. But for now we can only fantasize about it and make custom liveries, and that's what we've done here. We've gone for this metallic silver black style for the base coat of this car, and it works so nicely, even though it's just like I've only just used like the white setting on every single color combination, apart from the little pinstripe red you see on the car. And I think it gives off vibes of the McLaren Mercedes car from like the 2009, 8, 7 sort of era. But initially I was actually going for like a design based off of the Cybertruck that Tesla designed, and I could see them carrying over that colorway into an F1 car if they ever were to make one. I really like the white accents to this as well. It really makes the Venus logo, well in this case it's Venus, it would be Tesla. Yeah, I think it really makes it pop on the front wing, and adding that splash of red and colour to this car just brings it to life a little bit more. Now once again, apart from the Venus logo, you could really have any other sponsors you would like, but I think Xenon Dynamics and Novus and Satellite are probably the best ones you could use for this car, as it sort of brings in that American style sponsorship, as well as that outer space extraterrestrial theme that you know Elon Musk loves right now. So yeah, I could really see Tesla using those sort of sponsors. But yes, that about wraps up today's video. If you did enjoy it today, then be sure to hit that like button down below, and make sure you comment which design you like best, and which, if you do, let me know which livery you will use in your My Team career mode, as I'm interested to find out. And if you're after more of this type of content, then hit that subscribe button down below as well.